And welcome to Nerd TV for RSR Next Gen Cup Series race here. Coming at you live from the simulated Richmond Raceway here, where these boys are going to be tackling 145 laps around this 3/4 mile speedway. If you tuned in yesterday to Nerd TV, we watched the FTSR Mach 1 Performance Cup Series take 250 laps here, and it presented quite a bit of different challenges and scenarios and strategies, and we are looking forward to the same exact thing here tonight for RSR at ERL League here. And right now on the track, a little bit cooler than what we saw yesterday. Again, 78 in the skies, 56% humidity, which is up from yesterday. Still partly cloudy and no wind, so not going to be a factor. Track temp 106 degrees, and that will drop as the clouds start to cross over the track. As time winds down, it is currently 4:30 Eastern Standard Time at Richmond in the game here, and we're happy to bring this coverage to you. My name is Jeremy Stanley, and to my right-hand side, Mr. Jason Rockefeller joining me once again. How is it going over there this evening?
Well, it's doing fine over here in Dirty Jers. We're just hanging out, getting ready for the RSR Next Gen Cup Series here at Richmond. We saw a fantastic show last night for the Mach 1 Performance FTSR Series. So that's going to really play a big factor into probably how we call this race tonight, more than likely. Track temperature, it's hot, but not nearly as hot as yesterday. And these guys are going to have quite a handful tonight, especially like we saw, just like we did last night, Jeremy, off turn number 2.
Yeah, that presented some challenges even last week when we were watching, and then of course this week has already been, that's been the hot place, right? I always think in my mind turn 4, you had that excess tire spin off the corner and you just lose it, but now it's been turn 2. That wall is just snuck up on so many drivers across all the different series that we watched here this week at Richmond, and it won't not surprise me if we see that again.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, it's going to be interesting because, I mean, yesterday we had almost an overtime finish due to a spin off turn number 4. So, I mean, it just goes to show that anything and anywhere, like anything can happen anywhere out on this racetrack. And you have to prep these cars to be, for long run speed. But you never know when a caution is going to come out. That's the unpredictability here at Richmond, especially on iRacing. I mean, like we talked about off turn number 2, saw a lot of guys there yesterday get loose, hit the wall. We saw a lot of guys slapping the wall, then coming down, starting big wrecks. And then obviously late in the going, we saw Kyle Milliken spin off Sherwood Williford there off turn number 4. But you can see right there, Blake Howell off turn number 4. He got really loose off the corner. These guys are going to be dealing with hot track conditions here tonight. And it should be a really racing one for sure.
Yeah, so he put down the 6th fastest time so far. And on your side there is Mr. Dustin Loxton, our producer for tonight. What's your expectations going into this race, sir?
Hey, it's a short track.
Yes, it is.
Your expectations can't be too high coming into a short track because anything can happen here. We've seen it yesterday in FTSR. I mean, so many close battles, spins, contacts, looseness off turn 2. Turn 4, it seemed like turn 2 was that coffin corner, though. A lot of drivers had issues coming off of that, to that flat backstretch. So, but it's short track racing. I'm a fan of short track racing. I love short track racing. I think it really brings out the best in these drivers because you don't have a lot of room to work with. So you got to be spot on with your lines, with your throttle points, your brake points, because it's real easy to just completely freight train and railroad somebody going into the corner. So short tracks pushes drivers to the limit.
You're definitely not wrong there. Causes some tempers, but like this track's such a rhythmic track too. Like it's not just heavy brake, heavy gas. It's very smooth around these corners. It definitely destroy the tires if you don't take care of it, especially at track temps over 100 degrees like we're seeing here at Richmond. We saw it last night and we're seeing it again here tonight. And yeah, it's going to be a great one. I'm expecting maybe the second group to kind of kick in as well, even though the track's a little bit cooler. Maybe we're going to see a little bit more of the low side stuff, but anything's possible here. If you can pinch the guy on the bottom and get a great rotation on center, that might be the preferred way, but you definitely want to restart these restarts on the bottom because you carry that speed and momentum into the first corner, which sweeps to a left-hander, and almost every single time you're going to clear the guy on the top.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, obviously we saw it just like yesterday, yesterday night. and throwing it back to Sunday as well. Chris Buescher won the race on Sunday due to getting a good restart on the bottom of the racetrack. So the bottom seems to be the way to be. But if you have a good enough launch, if you have a good enough car, especially through the center of the corner and on entry into one, you can put up a challenge for that leader on the inside if they just, in fact, choose to go to the bottom of the racetrack for the restarts here. I expect it to be probably just like that tonight. Outside can be there sometimes here and there, depending on the mix and who's up there, depending on if they get good restarts and whatnot. But it should be interesting. And obviously, too, we saw yesterday during that super, super long green flag run from after lap 75 all the way to almost lap 250, we saw these guys going from the bottom to the middle to the top. You know, you can go everywhere on
three wide at times.
Yeah, 3 wide at times. And the funny thing is you can make it work despite how kind of flat Richmond is. You know, I mean, it's not flat, but you get my gist. You know, it's just, I don't know, man. I still think the bottom's going to be, you know, really dominant here tonight. And you, like I said last night too, you have to set up your car for the long run.
If you see that 3 wide, it's much easier off a turn 4, but turn 2, you better be very disciplined if you're on the bottom of that 3 wide scenario, or else you're going to be causing some chaos here at this short track. But it is time to go racing, time to get our cameras off the screen and count down tonight's starting order for this JS Excel Construction 145 for our 4th race of the season here for 2023B. And this time on pole, the number 2 is Zach Schrinfenal. Second place, Ryan Bean in the 28. Third place, you're going to find Harold Watkins. Fourth place, you're going to find Nathan Campbell. Fifth place, you're going to find Brian Fine in his own Fines Hines 57 car. Quite clever there for him to run that paint scheme here. Kevin Zabladale going to be in 6th. Blake Howell is going to be starting in 7th. 8th place, you'll find James Catrone. 9th place starting is going to be Matt Hayden. Tonight's 10th place starter, it's going to be Justin Hendry.
Top 20 tonight, you got Rusty Modsty in the number 6 machine, Adam Boughton in the number 10 machine there. He'll start 12th. Andrew Little will be 13th. Alexander Hodge will start 14th. Harold Rothery in the number 7 machine. He'll start 15th tonight. Michael Carter in the 24. He'll be 16th. Matt Upbroke in the 16 machine. He'll start 17th tonight. Michael Sheffield, he'll be in the 18th position. Bob Fitzpatrick starts 19th. And then to round out the top 20, Kevin Ruff in the 99 Ford Mustang.
21st, James Fitzmaurice. 22nd place is Stephen Rasick. 23rd, Tony Ludi. 24th, Jerry Culver. 25th will be Stan Carnathan. 26th place, Richard Gonzalez. And the last car in tonight's 27-car field is going to be Robert Fitzpatrick Sr. He's either going to take 2 pace laps or with this pace truck. Then he will dip down, and we will have 145 laps to get this thing completed as we take the camera old school style down the starting order here on the front stretch. I don't know how Dustin got his camera rights to walk down when the cars are active, but this is a beautiful shot.
Yeah, we did this last night. It absolutely looks beautiful, but, you know, we sometimes go inside the race cars, you know, and just, you know, defy the laws of physics there. Right on the front. There he is again. He's doing it, you know. He's a smart aleck. He's funny. I know he's laughing probably behind the camera. Yeah, he is. But, hey, we got ourselves a nice little race here tonight. 145 laps. 45 laps will be the end of that one and only stage that they will have. Weather coming into tonight with 78 degrees, 55% humidity, and the 2-mile-an-hour wind out of the north like it always is. The track temperature right now just around 100 degrees at 98. This is going to be a hot race. You got to stay cool, got to stay calm, got to be collective. It should be an interesting one to say the least, and make sure you keep those tires on that race car because tires going to mean everything here in the long run.
One thing else you want to kind of watch out for is that Ryan Bean machine won back-to-back races, did not win the first one. That belonged to Nate Campbell. And then Ryan Bean, who won 10 races last season, has won 2 of the 3 to start this season. And they're having fun on the chat saying, protest the 2 car for running the bean.exe. And Ryan Bean commented back saying, it's come a long way. So that bean.exe is definitely working out. He's starting P2 alongside the number 2 here of Zach. And you know, you can't never count the 28 here at RSR for the Next Gen Cup Series, but there's a lot of hungry guys that have very similar lap times in practice and qualifying. So I expect, you know, this top 10 at least to have a great battle here. Pace truck is down. These guys are about to get it settled for 145 laps. Here we go. Green flag is out. The 28 of Ryan Bean hits the .exe and almost clears the number 2 of Zach Strenthenal. Going to turn number 1 does make the clear happen to turn 2. Going down the back stretch, single file for the top 2.
Just like we saw last night, we saw the 31 machine. He was able to clear the race leader on the bottom on the very start. The next thing you know, every restart we had after that, the inside lane was the place to be. So Ryan Bean does exactly what the 31 did in last night's Mach 1 Performance Cup Series race, and he jumps out to the front right now, over 0.3 of a second from Zach Schrittenthal right there. You see the 23, Harold Watkins, all over Nathan Campbell, who had a heartbreaker last week at Pocono, challenging his teammate Ryan Bean for the win, and ran out of gas with half a lap to go and sputtered into turn 1 when battling side by side with him for the lead.
You might see something similar to that tonight, depending on how the strategy goes. If you remember last night, we had reports of that the Next Gen Cup Series saying, hey, they can run 80 to 100 laps on those tires. And the after stage break, which does occur on lap 45, this will set up about a 90 to 95 lap run if they go green the whole way. So tire conservation is definitely key. These guys, once again, if you don't know by now, have 2 sets of tires behind the wall plus the ones on their car, so 3 total. And at a short track, if you get multiple cautions, you gotta keep that in check.
Yeah, for sure, Jeremy. And, you know, we saw last night, obviously, some guys stretched it from 60 laps all the way to about 80, 90 laps. Well, a little bit of contact right there between Sheffield and the 99 of Kevin Ruff out of turn number 4. They keep it clean. Ruff will take that position away from him. That's the 18th spot right now out of turn 2. But back to the point, Jeremy, saw guys from lap 60 to about lap 80, if so 90, all the way on tires last night on that super long run after lap 75. So it can be like that here tonight. It just depends on what your strategy is and obviously how the race is playing out.
Yeah, 100% here. And this majority of this field has gone single file. You're seeing one of the very few side-by-side instances right now. That's going to be the 3 of Bob Fitzpatrick on the inside of the 85 of Justin Hendry. This is a battle for 13th position coming off corner exit. The 3 has the preferred line right here, clears the 85. This opens up the door for the 10 of Adam Boughton.
And Boughton will go to the inside of the racetrack. He's not going to be exactly clear just yet. Yes, he is now, but he's going to continue to battle right now with Fitzpatrick Jr. in the 3 machine heading into turns 3 and 4. Now the door is open wide for Michael Carter in the 24. He tries to get to Henry's back bumper. Wasn't enough right there. Henry was able to accelerate better off the corner. That opens up the door for Kevin Ruff. He'll look to the outside lane right now. Michael Carter trying to pick up 3 spots from where he started so far here tonight.
I see on the chats my 3 sons on YouTube saying, come on, Jerry Culver, and I hate to report there. I saw him last time off of turn 4. He hit the outside wall pretty hard there, and he lost several spots. Jerry Culver now resides in 24th place here, already 8.5 seconds back of the race leader, but we're still riding on board here, going down the backstretch, looking at the 3 of Bob Fitzpatrick. He's going to get passed by the 99 of Ruff here through turn number 3, and then that's the number 24 right there on your screen, Michael Carter, coming down to complete lap 9.
Yeah, everybody's kind of starting to get a little bit more spread out, but still some side-by-side racing, especially throughout the back half of this field. You see the 3 of Bob Fitzpatrick Jr. He's just trying to really run his race clean right now, try to get away from most of this back half of the field. He's already up 5 spots from where he was in that number 3 Bass Pro Shops Tracker Boats Camaro. Down the front straightaway to hit lap 11 this time by. Some other battling going behind him. You see Boughton right there in the 10 machine. He'll look down to the inside of, I believe that's the 21 machine. That's Steven Rasick right there. He'll go 1 lap down in that Ford Mustang as they head into 3.
1 lap down early on. You got to be hoping for that caution, but stage break comes at around 35 laps from now, so not completely over, but definitely not a great start for that number 21 here. We still got some side-by-sides in the back, but right now we're focusing on your race leader, the 28, Ryan Bean. Zach Strenthenal has not left him much. He's actually gained the past lap or 2, just under 3/10 behind, and then you see the train behind him really with the 45 and Nathan Campbell, winner of the first race of the season. Then you got Brian finding the 57, also trailing right behind. So really the top 4 or 5 are putting up a decent battle so far.
Yeah, Stealth Motorsports has absolutely dominated so far at the beginning of the season 2. Or not season, I guess you could call it season 2. They call it part 2, but you could say season 2 for 2023 for this Next Gen Cup Series. And it has been all Nathan Campbell from Atlanta all the way to Ryan Bean the last 2 races as Bean tries to make it 3 in a row here tonight from the quarter mile in Richmond, Virginia. And I expect him to possibly do just that. You see right now he's got some speed, but Zach Schrententhal, Nate Campbell, Brian Fine, they all have some speed right now, keeping up with Ryan Bean. But like we talked about during the pre-race, Jeremy, you have to have these cars set up for the long run. They could be with Ryan Bean right now, and then next thing you know, the next 15 laps, they could be 3 seconds behind him.
Yeah, it only takes one simple mishap there, or you overcook the tires, and you're going to fall back for sure. As Brian Fine actually gets a really good run on that 45 going through turn 3. Not able to stick it through turn 4, so used a little bit harder of an entrance there and just could not continue that momentum on exit. But he's still, they're all bunched up now. The 28 Ryan Bean is not the fastest car right now, but it is so hard to pass at Richmond. You have to execute corner exit if you want any chance to make the pass, because right now the inside lane is the only lane through the first 16 laps.
Right now, Jeremy, the Zach Schrententhal has better rolling speed through the center of the corner, but then on exit, I think Bean just kind of drives away a little bit. I mean, the gap was at one point about 1.15, so it was pretty close, almost a battle for the lead, but so far, Ryan has been able to kind of just hold it off. See a little bit of contact right there. That is the number 6 machine of Rusty Modsty right there. He's battling with Matt Hayden side by side. That's for another position. And Matt Hayden was in the wall off turn number 2 last time around. He's currently 4th in the standings, minus 33 back from Bean's title points lead right now. So Matt Hayden needs to have a good, consistent run. Finished 10th last week at Pocono. So he's looking to make his way up through this field probably in a hurry as quick as he can. Currently resides in the 9th spot.
Hayden with a great modernized throwback skin there. He took the old Mark Martin skin and made it work for the Next Gen logo layout. Excellent job there by that designer to capitalize on that. Big fan of that for sure. But then you got the 6 putting a lot of pressure. That is Rusty Modesty doing some work there. And right behind them, you see the 68 of Andrew Little, who had a couple of mishaps last week, looking to try to regroup and get inside the top 10 and have a solid run here tonight.
You guys obviously who are, we actually have our first caution of the night right now. It looks like it's Kevin Ruff in the 99 machine. It looks like he's dropping on the scoring pylon. Currently have to take a look and see what happened to him as we take a look here at the Nerd TV replay to show you just what happened. Some contact between Rothery and the 3 of Fitzpatrick. And then right here, the 7 loose hard impact into the wall for the 99 of Kevin Ruff. Doesn't collect anybody else, thankfully. But man, Kevin Ruff, heartbreak right there off turn number 4. Nothing he could do, just trying to make a pass. And the 7 is just trying to gather it up off 4.
Yeah, if we can kick it back a little bit early. Make contact entering the corner. The number's into turn 3 and doesn't go to the bottom. And the number 3 of Bob. We're going to try to get a quick clip of that. And they just met up in the center of the corner. And that's where this all started. Those two kind of wrecked, but they got it straightened out. And from that point forward, the 99 of Kevin Ruff got hooked by the 7 down the front stretch. You see the slow motion there, contact. Then they're straight, right? They're good. So then I guess the 7 just didn't expect where the 99 was going to be on corner exit after just trying to gather up his car. And then that's where multiple guys were involved in this one. I got loose.
Yeah, he just got loose right there off turn 4, just trying to gather it back up. And like I said, heartbreaker for Kevin Ruff right there. Nothing he could absolutely do. Just an innocent bystander trying to get past the carnage. And look at the 3. The 3 was able to save it. So hell of a job by Bob Fitzpatrick Jr. to be able to save that race car and keep on going. But unfortunately for Kevin Ruff and then the 7 of Harold Rothery, that was just an unfortunate circumstance due to the 7 getting loose right there, obviously.
Yeah, 100%. I don't think I saw too many people come down pit road too early to take one of their 2 sets of tires. Saw a couple guys like the fake pit here, and they tried it again, and no one really took. So let's see another view of that wreck here. This is on board. I think this is the 3 car, or Upbrook here. And yeah, just had a gap open up. One car went low, one car went high. Split the gap wide and easy for him. Goes through, no problems there. That could have easily taken out 3 to 4 cars, but only 2 involved in that one. But yeah, no, like I said, no one's pitted this time around, so everyone's going to be restarting the same spot they were at the time the caution dropped.
We'll see. Nope, that's just Ryan Bean playing games. He loves doing that. But hey, it's just too early to really take tires. I mean, you don't know when these cautions are going to fall. And next thing you know, you're going to take tires here. And then next thing you know, you're going to have consistent yellows. You just don't know. So if you're really going to make a pit stop, make sure that you make it when you know that your tires are super worn out. Right now, looking at the lap times, obviously, I'm currently looking at the last lap time, so I don't have what the very last lap under green was ran for some of these guys. But the best lap time on the racetrack right now, Zach Schrittenthal, he ran a 22.671, and he's currently looking like he's in the 3rd position. I think Nate Campbell was able to get by, so he's moved into the 2nd spot. But definitely not too much fall off as of right now. There is fall off, don't get me wrong, but there's not a drastic amount for them to need to come in and change tires.
We need that new Goodyear tire they brought to Richmond where they had a second and a half of fall off between the start of a run and the end of the run. So a couple quick shout outs here on the chats on Facebook. We got Michelle Rittenberry saying, let's go, Kevin. He's got a cheerleader. And then, of course, our usual pop-in guest, Mr. Matt Keach, saying, hey, once again, what's going on, man? Glad to see you joining in onto the broadcast here tonight for the RSR Next Gen Cup Series presented by JSXL Construction. And give a quick shout out to one of our partners before we bring this thing to green flag if we have time. Well, we have half a lap left. I'll get them shout out here soon. These guys are about to get lined up, ready to go. The 28 Ryan Bean, he's going to be restarting P1. The 45 Nathan Campbell, and now going to be starting in 2nd place as Strettenfall did drop back to 3rd place here. Of course, Ryan Bean elects to take the inside. That is the preferred restart groove here. Green flag is out. Excellent start by Ryan. Just absolutely obliterates the field. Easy 4 to 5 car links here entering turn 1.
Yeah, we got a lot of chaos happening back here. Some contact between Brian Fine, a couple other guys. You see right there, that's the 5 machine, I believe, Matt Hayden, or actually the 23 of Harold Watkins. He was in the middle of that right there. Saw him go up the racetrack. Contact was made off turn number 2. So a lot of shuffling here so far on this restart. One thing to point out, Ryan Bean got a heck of a restart, I think, because Nate Campbell started to go, and then all of a sudden it's like he just slowed down out of the restart box. I think he probably spun the tires there heading through the tri-oval.
That was a tricky situation there. They were 3 wide momentarily through that turn 2, but they basically got to 2 wide right at the corner exit there, and no harm, no foul. But yeah, it's cost a couple spots for that 23 Harold Watkins, who now is going to be in 7th place at the line that time, just barely behind the number 5 of Matt Hayden. But he's trying to hold his ground here. Does a really good job off corner exit number 2. Clears the 5 of Matt. If he wants to take it, he does. And now we got the 17 of Kevin Zabladil trying to battle Matt Hayden.
Tried to slam the door on Zabladil down the back straightaway there, but it just wasn't enough. And now Zabaldil will look down. He'll take a peek to the inside of Watkins. Wasn't able to do it. He slams the door on the 17 machine into 1, but the 23 super loose off corner exit into off 2. Now into 3. Zabaldil, he's got a little bit of an advantage here. He'll try to push him up the racetrack just a tad bit. Try to roll center through. They're dead even almost to the line. This time by still side by side entering 1.
Oh, a little bit of contact there by the 23. Tries to shortcut the corner entrance just a touch, and the 17 as Kevin was right there to not let that happen. And now the 23 drives in a little deep, almost makes rear end contact with Kevin. Kevin slides up the track. The 23 Harold sees the window opened, but he could not do it. The car wiggles on corner exit, has to follow back single file going to 1.
Everybody's starting to single file out right now. A couple other battles right here. You see Hodge and Modsty right there. They're battling off turn number 2. Some side-by-side action. The 11 gets a little bit loose on corner exit. Modesty's going to try to send it in a little bit harder there into 3. He'll ultimately clear the 11. That opens up the door for Adam Boughton in the 10 machine. He'll try to peek to the outside. Wasn't enough there. Almost got pinched into the wall. And look at this. Bob Fitzpatrick Jr. slowly starting to make his way back up through the field here. And he's side-by-side with Adam Boughton down the back straightaway.
Making his way back through the field. He's also up 5 spots from his starting position, so he's got a fast car. He just has to get through this traffic here for sure, but this time through turn number 4 cannot get cleared of Adam Boughton. But once again, he's going to attack turn 1 really strong. Going to get door to door with the 10 car here, A little bit better rotation through center, and now he's going to be able to clear the 10 going to 3.
Still side by side into turn number 3. You see Fitzpatrick Jr. He'll roll that bottom a lot better than Boughton down out of turn number 4. He'll be able to clear him, set his sights on Hodge into turn number 1. Some more side by side action behind Boughton. That's Carter and Sheffield out of turn number 2. They'll get a little bit loose off the corner. Is the 24 machine. You're riding on board with Michael Sheffield in the 1, looking to the outside, rotating that camera. You see that skull, number 24, that badass-looking scheme, trying to be able to roll through the center a lot more, down straightaway, a lot of speed. He'll send it off in there, almost gets to the back bumper of Adam Boughton into turn number 1, but there's still single file, some contact made off turn number 2.
Adam Boughton got loose off of turn 2, checked up the 24, and also with him the 1 there of Sheffield, the 82 of Carnathan, and the 16 of Opbrook. They had to get quickly on the binders to make sure they didn't wreck. But they keep it going straight now. The 1 of Sheffield trying to look to the inside of 24. 24 running a really high second groove here, but this rotation on corner exit just couldn't stick it. That corner just comes up too tight there. Had to lift off the throttle. This is going to allow Michael to get to position. And right here, it looks like he's going to clear him off corner exit, turn number 4. 10 laps before we see stage break.
And due to him being able to rotate the bottom a lot more, you see Carter not being able to get down to the inside of the racetrack, opened up the door big time for Upbrook, and also Kevin Ruff slowly coming into the picture right now. You see Carnathan, he's gotten by as well. Just that 24 machine not very strong right now, off the pace, currently by about 3 to 4 tenths of a second. Oh, and he nearly sends it in right there on Matt Upbrook going into turn number 1. Thankfully was not able to make any kind of contact to the rear bumper of that machine. And here comes Ruff. He'll head down to the inside of the racetrack, tries to wrap the bottom, slides up a little bit. Him and the 24, they're going to be side by side off turn 4.
Pretty good battle right here between these two. The 99-24, Kevin Ruff looks to the inside here of the 24, Michael Carter. Let's see if he can get that to stick on corner exit. He does. The 24 just struggling to find any grip on corner exit number 2. Allows the 99 of Kevin Ruff to take that position. That's going to be for the 18th position on track as we got 6 laps to go now before stage break.
Stage break approaching very, very quickly. And if you're Ryan Bean, you're just trying to continue that momentum away from your teammate. And I'm sure Nate Campbell is hungry, man. After losing that race by about half a lap last week to Ryan Bean into turn 1, had the run. They put on one hell of a show for us up here in the booth and the fans watching on Nerd TV here. I mean, it was just one of those classic Pocono finishes, fuel mileage, but also a great battle all the way to the end between two good teammates who give each other a lot of room. They work together week in and week out to set up these cars and whatnot. And Nate was heading down the front straightaway, had a big run into one. All of a sudden, car started sputtering, and Ryan Bean went right on by.
Big notation here, too, is number 2 is Zach Strenthal. From the time that before the caution came out, he was a strong second-place contender. After this last restart, he has fallen back to 5th place, and he is 3.5 seconds back. And, nice save there, but they're going to go 3 wide. Oh, no, he's 4 wide here momentarily. This really checks up the field. Huge save there. But this is going to hurt some people right now. Number 2 is going to lose maybe a couple more spots. They're still 3 wide there off exit number 2.
That was a huge moment right there for those guys. And to think, too, not only is this just a battle on the racetrack, this is some battle for some stage points. So no wonder why they're racing so dang hard up here, up at the front of the field. And they are still side by side. Blake Howell, Harold Watkins. And you see the 2 of Schritthal. He'll wrap the bottom. He'll get right by him, sliding in front of him. They're still side by side behind him. That's Watkins and Harold. Door to door into turn 3. Up 2, locks up the brakes. Heading into 1, overshoots the corner. They're almost 3 wide off turn number 4. One heck of a battle here for some stage points here on the final lap.
This is some craziness here as the final lap does happen. And now the 28 of Ryan Bean, focusing on him, jumping to turn number 4, coming off corner exit. He's going to win that stage As he crossed line with really close number 45, Nathan Campbell is going to finish the second place on now. Now third place, Kevin gets to line. Fourth, Brian Fine. Stage yellow is out. That is our second official caution presented by Roasted Jim's Coffee.
And we're going to go back right here to the replay and show you all that save. And into turn 3, Jeremy, you were making a call. And then you see right here, this is into turn number 1 here. So this is when they just first started battling with a few laps to go. You'll see that 57 move down to the bottom of the racetrack. In the 26, he's going to try to roll a lot better. He gets the momentum off turn number 2 a lot better than Brian Fine, which you will see right here. Brian Fine, he got into the corner a little deeper than he probably wanted to. Howell's going to be able to rotate the top a lot better here than Brian Fine on the bottom side. He'll start to drive away. And then you'll see the picture here when they get all the way down into turn 3. Right here, you'll see the 57, Brian Fine, inside of the racetrack. 26 just comes down. Brian Fine drives it in a little bit. You see the left front lockup. Big lockup right there, Jeremy. And next thing you know, the 26 channeled his inner Bowen Luke Duke from the Dukes of Hazzard. And he was absolutely digging inside of his number 26 machine, that 3-Chi Tyler Reddick throwback, and right in front of the field. Ooh. And look at the 17 right there. What a save by the 17 machine there. I cannot believe that Zabladil did not get involved whatsoever in that one.
Yeah, that was pretty crazy. We're going to get one more full speed clip here before we kick it back here. This is on the 57, focusing on him getting underneath the 26 right now. And one of the chats, Sheila Geary, said, let's go Blake Howell. Well, hopefully you're not watching this clip here because this was too close for comfort. If you're cheering on this 26, gets in the corner, there's the lockup. You see how quick he is to react on that wheel. Excellent job. But, man, Kevin Zabadil could have just ran right into the back of him. Has a good check up there. Going to go 4 wide momentarily. And this battle actually, with the tires being shot at that point, were for the next lap or so, we're just trying to hold on to it. And thankfully they all did.
Yeah, that was a huge moment in turn number 3 right there. I mean, a lot of guys could have been involved right there. You're taking an onboard look from Kevin Zabladil, and hang on right here. You might have some brown in your pants after this one, because if you're him, you're like, oh crap, oh crap, oh crap. And then all of a sudden, next thing you know, the racing gods presented you with being able to pinch it through, or thread the needle right through there in the middle. Kevin Zabladil did a hell of a job not being able to run into the 26 machine right there.
And they have some quick fun there as they're getting lined back up here for 1 to go. Talking about that incident, how that could have been so much worse. So everyone just having a fun time about it. We're going to give a quick shout out to one of our partners. We got just over half a lap left. Series sponsor Best One Tire and Service. If you're looking for a one-stop automotive repair and tire shop, Best One Tire and Service helps you get new tires, tire repairs, and auto service you need from the people you can trust. Check out where they're located nearest you by visiting bestonetire.com. And if they are, please make sure you stop by. If you have any tire repairs needs, they will gladly take care of your car. And we're going about the green flag here for the 3rd time. This time the whole field really runs up against the wall, dirt track style. And that caused some mayhem. Lots of check up. Once again, Blake is involved in this, going 3 wide instantly here. And a huge cluster through turn 2.
I don't know if we're going to be able to get a replay of that right there, but we definitely should, because Brian Fine did not go at all whatsoever on the restart. Checked up the field big time here, and Dustin's always got those replays ready to go for us. Into the restart zone. Here we go. You see the 17. He'll roll that top, dirt track style. Like you said, Jeremy, that's a thing that a lot of dirt track drivers do to get momentum off the corners so they don't have to kind of defend. And then the 57 doesn't expect it as much, doesn't go right behind Ryan Bean, stacks up the field big time. And thankfully, nobody was involved in any sort of other incident when they went down to 1.
Yeah, and they had we got our 4th caution here tonight. As we're looking at the replay one more time, the 57 didn't go, then 26, 68, 6, 5. They all just domino effect, bumper to bumper to bumper. I-4 Florida traffic right there. But we do have our 4th caution on the speedway. And it looks like it might have been the 16 of Matt Upbrook that caused this one.
Yeah, we'll have to take a look here at the Nerd TV replay. Taking a look, you'll see right here, and that is, I believe, the 9 machine. Richard Gonzalez slows it down big time. I think it was actually Adam Boughton in the 10 machine up in front of them. Yeah, it was. Adam Boughton got turned around off turn number 4. Great look right here off the corner. He just gets loose, man. Doors the 68, and obviously Rusty Mozzie, where are you going to go, man? There's just nowhere to go. Unfortunately, nothing Rusty could do right there off turn number 4. I mean, he tried the best he could, but, you know, obviously, and that's an issue like we saw yesterday. It's similar, different ends of the racetrack. But remember yesterday too, Jeremy, we saw one guy get really loose. We saw our leader, the Dominator, you know, Justin was able to really save the car out of turn number 1, or not Justin, but Jeff Chandler, per se. He was really loose in 1, saved it, got loose out of 2, and then obviously nobody had any time to react behind him and just ran into the back of him. Similar situation right there off turn number 4.
And that was a weird spin there by Adam Boughton to come off turn 4. It almost looks like the front of the car turned sideways and not so much the rear. And it turned right into the door panel of 2 different guys and sent them around. And that definitely brought out our caution here for the 4th time, or 3rd time rather, I should say. But we're going to take this time. We're going to go to a picture-in-picture commercial break. We'll be back with you guys here right before the drop of the green flag. And back to full screen coverage here as we got a half a lap left before we're going to go back to green flag for the 4th time this evening. Ryan Bean, after pit stops, resumes as your race leader. Kevin Zabladil is going to be in 2nd place here this time. And Zach Schrettenthal with a great pit stop, gained 2 spots on that one. But we're back to green flag, and somehow Ryan Bean once again just hits the nitrous button that recharges every time before green flag drops and zooms out to a 3 car length advantage. Now the 17, the Zabladil, and the number 2, the Schrettenthal, are going to be side by side down the back straight.
And they're side by side. And thing to note as well, Jeremy, Kevin Zabladil has not made a pit stop yet here tonight at Richmond. But right now, and the 2, what a save by Zach Schrettenthal off turn number 4, but comes back up into the field, tries to gather it. Everybody else checks up and advance there into 1. What a save by the 2 of Schrettenthal, going from about 2nd or 3rd. Drops all the way back, almost outside the top 10 to the 8th position. He'll fall into the clutches of Alexander Hodge and Matt Hayden into 3.
We're going to get a quick look here on his roof camera. Just nice job saving it. It looked a lot worse from the TV camera, but on his roof we could see the car definitely kick sideways, go to the bottom half of the front straight, if you want to call it a straight. And we're going to get another angle here. This time, watch his hands. Watch that orange tape on the wheel, pointing that thing about 45 degrees to the right while trying to keep the car's momentum going fast. And great handling there by the number 2.
Just happened to Kevin Zabaldil. He is dropping back a ton right now, and so is Rusty Modesty right now. That 17 machine, I don't know if he hit the wall or got loose or what, but he was running third, and he has dropped all the way outside the top 15, about to get passed by Carnathan, and also, or not Carnathan, but he just got passed by him and falls back to Michael Carter. So interesting dynamic right now for the 17 machine. We'll have to try to see if possibly we can get a replay on that, but he just dropped back like a rock here out of turn number 3.
He's got that F1 Ferrari style strategy right now. Not really working out to that favor. But yeah, he's definitely out off the pace. That is 100% for sure. As we're seeing now, the number 5 of Matt Hayden looking really slow on corner entrance there. Easily gets passed by the 45. And now Bob Fitzpatrick there in the 3 is trying to do the same thing as the inner 3.
Of shuffling around right now, and you see that 26 machine, Blake Howell, holding up these guys throughout the rest of the pack, trying to get by, make some sort of move. Here comes James Catrone in that 38 machine. He'll try to look down to the inside of the racetrack and bring Brian Fine along with him, as Fine will jump up to the top side. He'll put the 38 under fire, but Blake Howell has caused these leaders to drop back from the top 2 by almost 3 seconds as they work their way out of turn number 4 and into 1 now.
I saw a little contact between the 38 of James Catrone and the 57 of Brian Fine. It turns, right behind them, number 11 of Alexander Hodge gets really loose on turn number 1. He's going to lose 5, 6, maybe even 7 positions before getting to turn 3, as he's now getting passed by the number 6 here of Rusty Modesty. This is now going to drop him back to 13th. Looking at one more spot potentially lost here, this time to Matt Upbrook there in the 16. Will take that spot. So Love with a huge slide loses a ton of positions.
Everybody just seems to have one issue here tonight, Jeremy, and next thing you know, they're dropping back like a rock, and unfortunately that was the case for the number 11 of Alexander Hodge. Here's a great battle on the racetrack continuing to go at it. Brian Fine and the 38 of James Catrone, as Blake Howell was able to hold off those two. Now they're going to go door-to-door behind him out of turn number 2. Fine will make the pass, clear the 38 of Catrone out of 2. Some more battling behind them. Campbell will get around Andrew Little, as Little now is under fire from Matt Hayden, Fitzpatrick, and Kevin Ruff behind him.
Potential choo-choo train here for Mr. Little. If he can get to the bottom, that's going to be great, because if not, he's got a lot of cars that are bumper to bumper to bumper right behind him, trying to pass him the same way that Matt Hayden is doing. Maybe slight contact there on corner X. It got really close. Headed off to turn number 3. The 68 drives in a little deeper, but then Matt Hayden in the 5 really rotates the center much nicer. Coming on corner exit, Bob Fitzpatrick cannot get the grip. Let's see if Little wants to drive to the bottom. He does not. Number 3 attacks the corner as they go into 1.
Yeah, like the last 3 corners you've seen, the 3 machine looked like he was going to try to make it a 3. Oh, he got some contact down the back straightaway. The 68 into the wall. The 3 over corrects it up and into the 68 of Little. Hard contact, but they stay straight. No caution at all on the track right now. Fitzpatrick and the 68 machine, also of Andrew Little. Both of those cars, heavy right side damage, and it all happened out of turn 2 just a lap ago.
That rack and pinion system must be messed up in Andrew Little's car. That took a huge pounding to the outside retaining wall in turn number 3 as he is continuing to drop several positions. We're going to the Nerd TV replay. We're going to see 16 get loose. 3 overcorrects there and just could not get it to go straight. Got loose once more, slapped the 16 into the wall, and that's all she wrote there, or the 68 rather, I'm sorry. And yeah, the 68 is just continuing to lose positions on the track.
I mean, he's probably going to have to make a pit stop more than likely. I mean, that car is heavily damaged on the right side right there. You see him, he is falling back big time right now, all the way back to the 48 machine of Fitzpatrick Sr. into turn number 1. I mean, that last time around, Andrew Little was over a 2 2/10 slower than the rest of the field. He'll fall back to Adam Bowden and the 13 machine of Jerry Culver, that is. And then he's going to get passed here by Jimmy Fitz and Richard Gonzalez in just a second here. So that 68 machine probably more than likely going to go a lap down here in just a handful of minutes.
Yeah, clearly 100% off the pace. It almost looks like his left front wheel is turned inward. I'm not entirely sure there, but it's definitely got the worst end of that stick. Bob Fitzpatrick in the 3 running a normal pace here, so his car is not really affected as Dustin's going to take the aerial drone that we have connected to every single car. You see the damage on the right front, that's from the wall contact. If we can go to the left front possibly, as we're cycling around the car here, a lot more damage there. You see just that the nose just all pushed in on that side. Everything seems to be rotating and rolling smooth, but clearly something's wrong with that 68.
Wouldn't be surprised if he's got any kind of engine damage. It's going to hurt that horsepower and the RPMs inside that car, because he had a couple hits, one to the right side too, in fact, and then from the 3 machine as well. So, I mean, if you're the 68 machine, I mean, your best bet is you're hoping for a caution right now. But, I mean, if you start to continuously get slower and slower, I'd definitely make a pit stop.
Yeah, he's so close right now to get putting the lap down. As you're seeing the number 3 Bob Fitzpatrick, his damage there. Just a little paint transfer between himself and the 68. And that's really all you see on that 3 car. So he is good to go, running normal lap times. No harm, no foul to that car. But you know what I noticed, Jason, is this leader, Ryan, being the 28, every single time we have had a restart, second place has changed every time. Right now, it's the 23 Harold Watkins' turn. We saw the 45 contend Nathan Campbell on the restart prior. The first initial start, we saw the number 2 Zach Shrenthal. He was giving it a try. So it just seems like every single time we've had a different contender. And Harold Watkins seems to be putting about the same exact pace, lap per lap. Almost identical lap times between the 23 and the 28.
Yeah, this time around he was only off by about 0.04 of a second, so he's still got that pace. Like we talked about, though, it's just all going to be about that long run. Will he be able to have that long run pace to stay with Ryan Bean and be able to make any sort of pass on him? You talk about second place changing every restart. The real question is who's going to change that lead? Will it be Harold Watkins? Will it be Brian Fine, who's gained a lot of positions here tonight so far? Will it be Calvin Ruff making a comeback from the back of the field? Stan Carnathan, you see that 68 finally goes a lap down. He'll bring it down pit road of Andrew Little. Not a tough break for him yet again here tonight. He is the first car to go a lap down in the 27th spot.
You see the track map presented by iRacing iFlag here. This field has completely scattered around this 3-4 Smile Speedway. The leader right now going through 3 and 4. A lot of people mid-pack just coming off turn number 2, so it shows a half a lap difference here between the majority of this pack and where the race leader currently sits. But yeah, just to make a quick mention on that 68 Andrew Little, he was waiting for that 1 lap down to happen before making his pit stop, hoping and praying for that caution. Never got it, and now he's on pit road.
Yeah, well, that was kind of the right call. I mean, you didn't want to come to pit road right away, because next thing you know, I mean, what if there is a caution when you're already down on pit road, and then you're just like, damn it, I should have waited. You know, it's easy to do that. We're all, I think, guilty of it on the sim. You know, I myself have been a part of it where I had damage, and I was like, all right, I'm going to wait to go a lap down. If I go a lap down, I'm going to come into the pits. You know, and I've had it happen both ways, where I go 1 lap down, and then all of a sudden I'm coming to the pits, caution comes out right after I get past the commitment line. So then, you know, I'm already committed. I can't stop, you know. Or, you know, you just have a caution come out helpfully, you know, and when you're waiting it out. So, I mean, that's just a part of racing, unfortunately. Hopefully he'll be able to get some repairs done and try to salvage something here out of this day as Matt Upbroke goes a lap down now. He's in the 26th position, but still some good battling throughout the rest of this field. And Harold Watkins continues to stay right in Ryan Bean's rear view mirror at the same distance he's been. It's about a second between those two as of now as they head into 1.
I think that's the great time, Jason, and we're going to kick it up to turn up the tunes as we're going to listen to the sounds of these next-gen cars going around Richmond Raceway. We'll be back with you guys here shortly. And back here with our voices on, and not much has changed on the track when it comes to our two race leaders, Ryan Bean, Harold Watkins, other than a little bit of a separation decrease there. Ryan and Harold now only 0.8 of a second separated, but third place on back, still 3.5 for Brian Fine, 4.5 back for Nathan Campbell. As really this top five is just ever so slightly creeping in, but they still have a lot of space to go. As his laps count down to just over 50 to go.
This battle up at the front of the field is kind of reminding me a lot of Nate Campbell and Ryan Bean's battle from last week at Pocono. I mean, one guy was faster one lap, the next guy was the next, and then vice versa, and so on and so forth. I mean, Ryan Bean is faster one lap, then Harold Watkins is faster one lap, and then they switch it up sometimes. Some guys, you know, better by 1 lap, then 2 laps, 3 laps, and then they'll switch it off again. And the next guy's better by 2 laps, and yeah, you get the gist. But I mean, Harold Watkins, I'm kind of really surprised that he's been able to kind of just hang in there with Ryan Bean so far. I mean, Nate Campbell and Ryan Bean have pretty much dominated here this season, obviously. But I mean, when you look at them, you know, I mean, they're really, really, you know, fast. I mean, Harold is on the exact same team for Stealth Motorsports with Nate Campbell and Ryan Bean. So it's not like they're not out of the same stable per se. But Ryan Bean just a little bit better, you know, this season so far. But Harold Watkins is really challenging him here, trying to tell him, say, hey, man, I've got something for you here late in this going of the race.
Yeah, Harold Watkins came into this race only with 1 top 10 for the first 3 events, 15th in points. So right now, this is first night of 2023B, where he's really showcasing what speed he has on the first short track of this Part 2 season here. But right now, he's just now dropping back a little bit once again to that 28 as we're starting to see some lap traffic come through here, which is not playing well for that 23. He's getting checked up by the 16 and the number 9 here. The 9 getting loose a little bit off turn number 2. So he has to navigate this traffic a little bit better because right now he is dropping quick compared to that race leader.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, there's a lot of guys right now just trying to navigate lap traffic. If we take a look here at the track map, we'll look at it just like we did yesterday night. You'll just see how wide this racetrack's gotten. Obviously, just like last night, though, nobody has really, you know, gone to show that this racetrack can be fully completed with all those white, green, and gray dots all around this quarter or 3/4 of a mile short track here. So there's still that little gap from the tail end of that pack all the way to the leader. But obviously, as you look at some of these guys, Ryan Bean, he's been able to navigate this lap traffic that's fallen back to him really, really well. Right now, it looks like he's going to lap the 48 of Robert Fitzpatrick Sr. So we'll probably see Fitzpatrick go a lap down here in just any minute. And then it's going to be about 6 seconds before he gets to Kevin Zabladil, who has just dropped so far back. Still just wondering what went wrong with that 17. You see the 48 easily get out of the way for the race leader. But there is just action all over this place, and we're starting to get to that super long run here, Jeremy, where pit stops are going to be a question here as we approach these next few laps.
Yeah, if there's one more caution, it will definitely be the last pit stop for basically all the drivers on the field. And this really goes to show how fast the 28 of Ryan Bean, the 23 of Harold Watkins, and the leaders for the top 10 for the most part really are, as they've got multiple guys lapped down, not because of wrecks or anything. It's just purely off of speed alone. So to see the 23, 28, 57, 45 just come in here and run the speeds they are, really just shows how dialed in you have to be here at Richmond. This is definitely one of those drivers' tracks where you get it or you don't, and you're seeing who excels here at this track.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, going back to the pit stop, you know, I mean, these guys, we talked about it last night. We got some great information from Josh Johnson, driver of the 57 in yesterday's FTSR Mach 1 Performance Cup Series race. He was out early, but he told us, because we were like, oh, can these cars go about 60 to 70 laps on fuel? We don't know. Turns out these things can go about 80 to 100 laps on fuel. It's the tires that can't make it all the way. And when you look back at the last time these guys pitted, they pitted around the lap 47, 46 mark. So, I mean, it's been a little while since they've had some fresh Goodyear Eagles on these cars. Obviously, they've already dropped a second with the times right now. So I think if there's guys who are probably going to pit here within the next few laps, it would probably have to be soon. And it would probably be guys who are trying to look for some kind of undercut to be able to stay out possibly, but I just don't see anybody really coming to the pits unless it's for fuel. But I mean, you never know. That's the thing about racing. You just never know.
And you can stretch it too, like we said earlier, and about yesterday's race there at FTSR is they could go 100 laps on tires if you have the conservation. Now the speeds of the 28, in the top 5, top 10 are running. I don't know if they can make it 100 laps or even 90 for that matter. But the fuel tank, you can make it. So actually, this is going to change everything we just talked about up. The fourth caution is out on the speedway as we're going to cycle through and try to figure out. Looks like the number one of Michael Sheffield, turn 2. Let's see right here on the Nerd TV replay.
Yeah, we're taking a look right down to turn 1. You see the 2 machine super slow, and the 1 just runs right into the back of the 2 machine of Zach Schrenthal, who was running up at the front for the first half of this race, I'd say. And now he's dropped all the way back to 12. So unfortunate circumstances. We're going to take a little ride here with the 1 machine of Michael Sheffield, the 2. Oh, and the 82 machine. I didn't even notice that on the initial replay. The 82 machine locked it up. Stan Carnathan in that Chevy Camaro, he locked it up. And then the 2 machine tried to avoid, and he cut down a little bit, and the 1 was drifting up a bit. And unfortunately, due to that incident avoidance, that's what ultimately caused that caution.
And 2 minus 1 equals 1 big hit there for Michael Sheffield on the apron as we're going to be on the roof camera of the number 11 car. You see him spinning out and just, he tried so hard there, Jason. But the number 1, Michael, just came down just a little bit, made the 11 unclear of clearing him there. Got right into his left front tire, so that could cause some potential suspension damage. Track and pinion setup just gone bad. So multiple things could be wrong with that car, but man, that was a hard hit.
I mean, it's just unfortunate here, but we got some guys coming down on pit road. Some are going to take some damage repair here. Obviously, that just came around from being allowed down, and we've already had these guys take their pit stops up at the front. Ryan Bean, Harold Watkins, Brian Fine continue to be that dominant top 3 that they've been all night long. Now the question's going to be, will anybody have anything for Ryan Bean? We saw it yesterday. Jeff Chandler dominated the race, lost it on a late race restart. Obviously, we're not too late into the race yet, but we're still late into it. We're over 110 laps here once we come around this time by to complete this lap. It'll be lap 111. So, I mean, these guys probably could have put in a little bit of adjustments to probably make their car better on the short run, but they're still going to need, that extra amount of time here as if it were like a fixed race at 1.5 miles where they still got to save tires, but they got to go, and they got to go fast.
Yeah, 100% here, and it looks like 2 guys are electing to stay out here. The number 68 of Andrew Little. It looks like he's going to get one of those waiver rounds for him here, as he likes not to pit. And then the guy right behind him there, looks like the 16 of Upbrook. He's not pitting as well. So I think that put him back, or we'll be cycling him through back to the tail end of the lead lap. So great call there by those 2 guys, recognizing that if they can make it on pit stop, or without a pit stop rather, it's going to put them back in a better position than what they just were. I'd love to give a shout out to one of our partners. Before we see the green flag fly once again, this time it's going to be from Admin Box. It's built by iRacers for iRacers and utilized in league and hosted racing. The goal is to make race control as easy as possible for race administrators, either racing or providing race control. Each admin box connects via USB and features pre-programmed commands, so no key binding required for race control, driver function, and pit options. LED backlighting makes the buttons highly visible in any situation. Check out their pricing plans at adminbox.com. And once again, that's 2 X's, ADMINBOXX.com. And use code RSR-box for 10% off. These guys go back to green flag here, lined up. Pace truck is down. Ryan Bean does not get the start that he's used to having here. Now the 23 of Harold Watkins beats him to the line, gets the bonus point for leading at least a lap here on lap 113. He has a great momentum here, shift on corner exit number 2, side by side directly into ring 3.
And Harold Watkins got that start due to the fresh Goodyear Eagles. Him and his teammate are going to battle super hard. with their other teammate, Nate Campbell, trying to redeem himself after a heartbreaking loss last week at Pocono. He'll look to the outside, but stay tucked right behind Harold Watkins. The 28 of Ryan Bean tries to wrap the bottom. Almost contact made. Watkins has the edge down into turn number 3, but they're still side by side, 2 by 2 for the first front 4 drivers.
Yeah, Nathan Campbell and Brian Fine also doing the same exact thing as the 23 and 28 are doing. This is producing some awesome racing here within the top 5. The 23, a little bit of a mishap. Almost gets it back completely, but Brian Bean and the 28 able to clear Harold Watkins. Now Brian Fine sees the door up, make a little contact there with the 23 of Watkins. That's going to propel the 57 into second place.
23 of Watkins, Jeremy, locked it up, overdrove the corner just a tad bit, heading into turn number 3. And now Brian Fine, you talk about restarts providing new guys to move into second. Sure enough, Brian Fine is that guy. Here he comes right now, trying to close to the back bumper of Ryan Bean. It's by about 0.2 of a second. Still can't get there on corner exit, but you look at the battle back here. Kevin Ruff gets around the 38 of Catrone.
Yeah, as the guys now go about single file for the first. Oh, we got another caution here, the 5th one, presented by Roasted Jim's Coffee, and you seeing the number 8 there of Tony. Oh, there's no caution by him actually. As we're going to try to figure out where the caution has come from on the speedway for the 5th time.
Yeah, interesting to see. I believe it might have been the 5 machine of Matt Hayden, actually. Just all of a sudden started dropping down the pylon. We'll take a look here at the Nerd TV replay. And off the corner, the 21 and the 17. Oh, and the 5 just overcorrects it hard into the wall and destroys the front of that number 5 machine. Hard impact for Matt Hayden, who is coming off of a top 10 result just last week at Pocono.
So a couple of guys with issues really off of turn 4. The worst comes from the 5 of Matt Hayden. As we're going to go on board, you see the casual slide, and just once the front tires hook, you have no option but to find that outside wall, and you see the hood come up. That thing is basically grenaded. His car is technically alive, but there's no way that he's going to be in competition form, so he's going to collect that tow. And you saw Tony Ludi there through the front stretch there at the bottom, cutting up the grass a little bit as well. So turn 4 all of a sudden became a slippery place.
Yeah, now this brings up the question of cautions, possibly breeding more cautions. We've seen it time and time again. We saw it last night in the Mach 1 Performance Cup Series for the FTSR. We very well could see the same thing here tonight for the ERL RSR Next Generation Cup Series, guys. Because, I mean, it's been pretty much a green flag race. Had a couple mishaps earlier on, but sure enough, we still had that green flag run here and there. But now you're coming down, when we hit lap 20, you're looking at coming down to about 26 laps to go or less this time around, if they do get, in fact, the 1 lap to go right here. So it's going to be kind of like a shootout, Jeremy. You're not going to have much time, but you're still going to be able to have enough momentum to try to see if you can be conservative, yet still be aggressive on the restart.
Number 33 at James Fitzmaurice, get your hashtag Get a Grip Lucky Dog Award presented by Martin Sports. As he goes to the tail end of the longest line, but rejoins the lead lap pack. He's going to be restarting this race back in 19th place, it looks like. So hopefully he can make the most of that one there. And we got a half a lap left to green. Yeah, we're going to be restarting on lap 121. So it'll be exactly that 25 laps to go on this restart here. And actually, they're going to go one more lap actually here before we're going to see the green flag. And since we got one more lap here, going to give another one of our partners a quick shout out here. And we shout them out for that Get a Grip award. And I'm going to shout them out here again for their full product. Martin Sports, small company with a big time product, home of the sim gloves. The best ones you can put on your hands during any sim race. They make the most breathable and durable gloves the sim racing world has ever seen. But they also specialize in fully customized sublimation printing on everything from team uniforms to shirts and hoodies, allowing for zero restrictions on color, which allows for the absolute fastest turnaround in the business. Check out their full apparel and merchandise line at martinsports906.com. You're still waiting to go back to green flag here. Another lap for these guys. We're going to quickly show on the bottom half of our screen our weekly schedule here. If you tuned in yesterday, we have the FTSR Mach 1 Performance Cup Series. And then tonight, on every Tuesday for that matter, we're going to see the RSR Next Gen Cup Series here, presented by Best One Tire. And then we're going to go back to FTSR for the Martin Sports Truck Series. And great news for you guys who are tuning in to all of our broadcasts, or at least try to. Every single race at the same exact time, 8:55 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Be able to tune in and see our faces and watch the action that we provide 3 nights a week on Nerd TV via YouTube, Facebook, and Kick.com. Getting ready for this restart here. Pace truck is down finally. Restart's going to be just over 20 laps left. Ryan Bean gets a decent start over the 23 and the 57. Harold Watkins makes a great restart attempt, and so good he gets to the bottom of Ryan Bean, at least momentarily. But Ryan just rotates the corner so good. The 23 tries, cannot do it. Single file for the top 3.
Very questionable call by Ryan Beam entering turn number 1. He went all the way to the top just to make sure he could arc, but I think he went high a little too late. Opened up the door for Harold Watkins, and he should be very lucky and thank his teammate for not dumping him out of turn number 2 or into 1 per se, because he very well probably could have done that. He's kind of fallen back now. His other teammate, Nate Campbell, works his way into the top 3, and look at this guy, Kevin Ruff, from being one of our first cautions of the night, all the way up 15. Oh, we got a spinner in the front straightaway. Blake Howell around into the grass right now. No caution since it's below the racing surface. We'll have an update on that. Believe another driver around in turn number 2, Adam Bowden as well. He goes around, I think.
Oh.
But off turn number 4, the 26 just went around. So much craziness going on here since this restart.
Huge pile up there on the backstretch as we're going to the Nerd TV replay there. And you're seeing the tail end of that. We're going to bring multiple angles to you. That's going to involve the number 8 of Tony Ludi, the number 7 of Harold Rothery, and quite a few others here involved. I think about 5 or 6 total, including the number 2 of Zach Strengthenall, who's been such a strong contender all race long. Here we go on the Nerd TV replay. Once more, you see the contact there with the 10 and the 6. 6 is sideways. Here comes Zach. Heavy contact there. Spins in front of the field. And that's where we're going to see the 7 and quite a few others pile in.
I think Rusty Modesty right there had that thing saved, had the 10 have not finished them off right there, heading out of turn number 2. And unfortunately, that's exactly what happened. Just nowhere to go for the 2 machine of Schrittenthal and also some other guys right there. You see the 16 machine of Matt Upbrook. He gets involved. The 8 as well of Anthony Ludi. A few other guys involved as well. And that's what we talked about, Jeremy. Cautions breeding cautions. This is just enabling Ryan Bean to just have more and more pressure on himself on these restarts.
Short track, baby. That's all this is right here. It's a great product of that. You see on board here, the number 8, Tony Ludi, just that 7 car right there of Rothery just came through with a great amount of speed and nailed the back of the 8, hit the number 2 and a couple others there going through that wreck. The 24 slightly involved on that one. There's you see the number 7 here of Rothery going through turn 1. You're going to see the wreck happen right there. And just, I don't know if he tried to clear the gap, but there's a contact there, then nails the number 2, but that was because of smoke. Really couldn't see how to get around that one. And it just becomes a parking lot midway down the back straight.
Yeah, product of Richmond right there. I mean, that all started, think about it, Jeremy, into turn 1 and didn't stop until halfway down the back straightaway. You think back probably to about the 2011, I believe it was the spring race or the fall race. It was the one where Jeff Gordon hit that very awkward, not even safer barrier, that concrete wall on the inside of the ring 3. That wreck started all the way off 2 and didn't end all the way until the center of 3 and 4. So everything kind of just continues to be a train-like wreck here at Richmond. You see it already started, and it's going to end right here halfway down the back straightaway. You're riding right now with Sheffield. No contact made. Wow, he got stopped just in time in order for himself to not make contact with the 7, not make contact with the 2. Great job there here for Michael Sheffield to not be able to get involved in anything in that 1 machine.
Yeah, and I kind of noticed too that Michael Sheffield had a little wiggle in turn number 1, backed up about a car length or so on the center of the corner, and then the wreck happened, and I think that was the gap that he needed to not have any contact. So a little mishap provided some great luck for that car. These guys, though, Jason, when you go back to this restart, we're going to have probably 14 laps, maybe 15 laps to go, depending on when these guys get waved around for the final time on this restart, which will bring the 7th green flag of the night. It's going to be a really good shootout. We know the 28's fast, but these guys just getting a little bit stronger on this 28. This is going to be quite interesting.
Yeah, but you also got to think to yourself, Jeremy, they haven't pitted to make any other adjustments too, so they all have the same cars. It's just Ryan Bean needs to be consistent like he's been all night on those restarts. He almost lost it right there on the previous restart to his teammate Harold Watkins. Now he's going to have the 23, or not the 23 machine, but the 45 of Nate Campbell there behind Brian Fine in case he tries to clear himself. But this time around, he's going to take that bottom lane, or not the bottom, but the top lane here. So we'll see how this works out. That bottom lane has only been dominant when these tires have been worn. So we'll see. Or that top lane has also been only dominant when it's been fresh tires. But here we go.
Here we go. Green flag is out. He questioned the top start there, but he just, once again, the number 57 with not a great start there allows the 23 to really dip down there. Now he's going to have just about a quarter car length over the or underneath the 28 there. As a caution once again, 7th one, and you see another pileup on turn number 2. Our producer Dustin dubs it in the coffin corner, and looks like 2 cars involved in that.
Goodness.
Can't tell who that is at the moment, but heavy damage it looks like.
Yeah, 21 of Steven Rassick and also the 1 of Michael Sheffield. You'll see right here. Watch how hard this hit is at a turn 2. Boom, right there. And the 1 ultimately gets collected, also collects the 8 of Anthony Ludi. I tell you what, from the back straightaway cam pointing towards turn 2, that looked like a lot harder hit from that angle than it did right there. And we'll take a look here at it again. You'll see the 21 machine. He'll just head into 2, roll the corner, starts to get loose, overcorrects it, pow, into the wall, up in the air. The 1, or excuse me, that was not the 1. That was the 48 of Robert Fitzpatrick Sr. He plows the wall with a hellacious hit to the outside safer barrier right there. So that car is probably going to be more than likely done for the end of his night here.
Yeah, just slight contact there, the 33, and that was the car parked at the bottom there when the original camera panned over to the wreck. There on the inside, just parks. That car just barely bounced off the 33, and that was a direct one-shot dead car right there. The 48, there's the contact, and just nowhere to go. The safer barrier is not going to do much for you. Actually gets a little help by Tony Ludi, and the bumper just shoots off that thing, bounces off the 8's right front fender, and that car is done for the evening.
Just such a hard hit right there for both of those drivers. And I have a feeling, Jeremy, in my opinion, and I'm going to say it, I don't think that's the last we've seen of the coffin corner, is what Dustin dubs it. I think it's going to bite again. And I think it's going to bite even bigger than it's probably had here all night long. Everybody's getting aggressive. The laps are winding down. Everybody's trying to get the most they can out of their next-gen cars here. So everybody's going to start getting really, really loose here, probably out of turn 2, create a lot of controversy down the back straight away. I would not be surprised, too, if it comes from somebody in that front pack.
Yeah, 100% here, and we got a little bit of time, so I'm going to do a shout out to one of our partners. This time it's going to come from our home base, Nerd Swag. Recently updated. We have, of course, our Martin Sports exclusive gloves and jerseys. We also have water bottles, mouse pads. But the new Shirtitudes program, I think we have 3 shirts that are live and ready to check out, and some of the cheapest ones when it comes to personalized merchandise. So if you're looking to support the nerds in any shape or form, head over to swag.nerditudes.gg, or just go to nerditudes.gg and click on Nerd Swag on the upper little bar there on your screen. It'll take you right to our merchandise lineup, and use that promo code SUPERNERD when you purchase one of the gloves or jerseys, and it'll save you 25% when you shop over there from Martin Sports with their exclusive products on nerditudes.gg. And we got about a lap left, Jason. This is going to be under 10 laps to go for this restart here. I don't know why the 28's restarting on the top unless he just wants to change things up, but I think the bottom needs to be where it needs to be. But it looks like he's going to give the inside to Harold Watkins once more.
I tell you what, I don't know if that was just a team call right there, but I think that the 23 machine's a lot better than the 57 on the launch for these restarts. I think Harold Watkins probably is going to have something here for his teammate. If I were Ryan Bean, I would have not at all let my teammate have the bottom right there.
Yeah, I don't know if he's just trying to give him a better chance of getting his first win of the night. Remember, he's only got one top 10 that Mr. Harold Watkins in the 23 has. So, you know, whatever he does tonight, it's going to be way better than what he's had for the first 3 races. But this has definitely opened the door. He had one attempt earlier on one of these restarts and had a lap or so of side by side, but the 28, just a great restart, going to erase everything we just talked about there. He's going to dive into turn 1 here on the inside on this restart, but he's going to clear the 45 for sure of Nathan Campbell. It's probably why he elected the bottom to do that, to get his teammate 1-2 here, as they're going to be single file for the first 3 cars entering 3.
The 23 overdrives the corner a little bit. He tried the best he could to put the back bumper to Ryan Bean. Now he'll fall into the clutches of Kevin Ruff. 1 car sideways on the front straightaway. We stay green, but that opened up the door for Nathan Campbell. Haven't really seen what he could do at a close proximity to Ryan Bean all night long. Now he has the opportunity, this time by 7 laps to go remaining from the virtual Richmond Raceway.
Nathan Campbell at 45, finally back to P2. It looks like he has a great deal of speed. We got 7 laps to go here. He might have a shot at this 28 car. We haven't seen him make the effort. You know, as he gets really loose there off of turn 2, actually, that's going to cost everything and then some, as Brian Fine's going to try to make the pass on the top. He's able to get it done as the 45's tires are still mad at him for that looseness off of turn 2. So Brian Fine now has the door to get second place.
Does the 45, sends it off in there into the corner, tries to get to the back bumper of Brian Fine's not going to be enough. Fine will scoot away from Campbell off the corner as Kevin Ruff tries to move past Harold Watkins for the 4th position as they roll 3 and 4. And look at this, Kevin Zabaldil, a guy, oh, we got a crash off the corner of the 38 machine. James Catrone through the grass. No caution, though, due to being on the apron. He'll take a tow to the garage. We stay green with just 5 laps to go.
That wreck kind of happened in turn 3. You see him get loose off of turn 4. He made slight bumper-to-bumper contact with the 23 of Watkins, and it upset the car on center exit there. And by the time he got to the wall, he had to turn the wheel a little sharper to avoid the outside wall, and I think that's what upset the car to do that spin, and he backs out of that car knowing he has no contention left in this race.
For sure, and I mean, now you're coming this time by 3 laps to go. Ryan Bean seeing everything in his rear and front that he wants to see with 3 laps to go. Ryan Bean has dominated this race basically all night long. Don't think Brian Fine's going to be able to get there. He's going to have a lap and a half to have a caution come out if he's going to have any chance remotely at seeing Ryan Bean fall back into his clutches and try to go for that win.
Trying to go for 3 wins in a row. 2 laps to go here for the JS Excel Construction 145. He has just over a half a second gap between him and second place Brian Fine. Nathan Campbell trying to do anything to get back into second place, where he lost it himself, getting loose off of turn 2 about 5 laps prior. But we're coming to the white flag, presented by absolutely nobody. The top 3 look like are going to be locked into podium unless something happens.
And with 1 lap to go, Ryan Bean has just absolutely dominated. The guy has won 2 out of the 3 races here tonight, looking to make it 3 in a row here as he heads into 3 for the final time.
3 and 4 clean corners here. Ryan Bean, the 28, going to go 3 for 4, 3 in a row here at the RSR Next Gen Cup Series. Congratulations, that is your winning moment, collecting 3 checker flags in a row. Starting to look like Max Verstappen out here in this Next Gen Cup Series.
Yeah, what a drive by Ryan Bean. Absolute statement out of the Stealth Motorsports guys here tonight.
Oh,
and I don't know if the 17 was a little bit disgruntled with the 57 machine or what. That's probably the only damage Ryan Bean has had all night. Don't know if this is just some sort of funsies possibly, but guys are not happy with each other from the looks of it after the checkered flag. But what a drive by Ryan Bean. Back to it, though. I mean, this guy now 3 races in a row, and he does it in dominating fashion here tonight in that Mobile One Camry.
Short tracks will be short tracks, and it produces short tempers and everything else in between. But Ryan Bean enjoying himself with a third straight burnout celebratory. Yeah, much better donuts too, as my producers in the area. I talked to him last week saying you hit the wall after having so many lane options to not hit the wall, but he's clearly avoiding it, knowing what he did last week. He doesn't want to get called out. But as he's continuing to burn it down here, we're going to go over the unofficial results presented by Admin Box here. Ryan Bean's going to be P1. Brian Fine's going to finish second place. Nathan Campbell in third. Kevin Ruff finishes in fourth. Kevin Zabladil in fifth. Harold Watkins finishes P6. Justin Hendry finds himself in 7th place. Bob Fitzpatrick with an up and down day gets himself into the top 10, up 9 spots, going to finish P8. Rusty Modesty 9th. Into 10th place finisher Matt Upbrook.
Top 20 tonight, 11th, Boughton, 12th, Howell, 13th, Anthony Ludi, 14th, Zach Schrittenthal, 15th goes to Carnathan, 16th goes to Jimmy Fitz, 17th, Richard Gonzalez, 18th, Alexander Hodge, 19th is Jerry Culver, first car 1 lap down, and 20th tonight is Michael Sheffield, who was involved in quite a bit here tonight.
21st, James Catrone. 22nd, Andrew Little. 23rd, going to be Matt Hayden. 24th place, Stephen Rasick. 25th, Robert Fitzpatrick Sr. 26th, Michael Carter, and Harold Rothery in the 7 finishes last place here in 27th. And we're going to kick it to full screen commercial break, gather up the top 3 momentarily, and we'll be right back to talk to the top 3. And welcome to the Martin Sports Post Race Show, as we're going to bring in our tonight's top 3 and get a word with them on the JSXL Construction 145 and get all their opinions about this race. First and foremost, that number 45 of Nathan Campbell, number 45 Ziegler Motorsports, Toyota Camry. Nathan, you got a copy?
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Hey, man, it's going pretty good up here. That race was pretty exciting, some late race drama. You yourself had a really up and down day. You started off this race really competing inside the top 3, did a great job, and then you fell back for a little bit. What happened there, and what did it take for you to get back up into the top 3?
Oh man, it's kind of been the story of my season so far. I mean, obviously, I'm glad that I got the first win out of the way early. But other than that, I've had internet issues. I've had a speeding on pit road tonight. Like 2 weeks in a row, I was having internet problems, so I finally got that figured out. It's a bad coax cable actually in my wall, so just for anybody else having problems out there. But no, just the speeding penalty was really unfortunate. I was only going 1 over. I couldn't believe that it gave me a speeding there, so I was pretty frustrated with that. But kind of drove angry and got my way back to the front pretty quick. I pretty much passed the whole field on the outside. Then gave myself an opportunity there at the end, and then just started overdriving it a little because I knew Bean is obviously faster than heck. So just trying to do everything I could to keep up there. And obviously here you got to slow down to go fast. So that was definitely my mistake on the night, and it was pretty fun racing Brian there at the end.
Well, hey, Nate, I mean, you did one hell of a job, obviously, coming back to the field. I guess driving pissed off has its ups, but also its downs. And I guess it's better to finish third here tonight than running out of gas on the last lap of Pocono like you did last week.
Exactly.
I was going to say that. But you know,
Yeah.
looking at the way you guys have been over at Stealth here this season, I mean, you guys have been putting on an absolute clinic. Obviously, Ryan had multiple wins in part one for the 2023 season, and he's seemingly starting to do that again. And it's looking to be another trend continuously this season. Do you guys think what do you guys think, but what do you guys as a team need to do? Yes, he's your teammate, but what do you have to do in order to chase down Ryan week in and week out? Because he's consistently fast up at the front of the field every week.
Yeah, there's definitely times where I feel like I can catch him on older tires. Like at the end of stage one there, I was starting to run him down, and I felt like if we wouldn't have had a stage break that I probably would have eventually made that happen there. But honestly, it's just consistency. I mean, you guys watch him. He hits every single corner, every single lap. He doesn't make mistakes. And at the end, that's usually who ends up winning. And so, got to give him props. I mean, I love learning from him in practice every week. So that's really nice. And I think that's a huge contributor to why we're all so fast this year, especially. So yeah, I'd say just consistency and just don't miss corners. Just hit them all every single lap. And I think I'll have a shot, but that's hard for sure.
One other thing you could do is when they talked in the pre-race, that bean.exe could probably be
Yeah.
deleted too, and that might actually help you guys too.
Yeah, it's hilarious, man. It's been the running gag for quite a while, so
That's
no,
great. man. I
we'll
love
get him.
it.
We'll get him eventually.
Yeah, no doubt for sure. But
You can tell him
yeah,
I said that later too.
yeah, definitely.
Get a
I'll
rise out
definitely
of
pass it on. Okay. For sure. Man. All right, man. Floor is yours. Who would love to give a shout out to real quick before we
Yeah,
let you go?
huge shout out to all my friends and family watching. All the boys at Ziegler. I know I got some of those guys watching me, so shout out to them, and shout out to you guys. You guys have been absolutely incredible this year. I haven't had a chance to tell you guys that, but we've had multiple different broadcasters the last three or four seasons, and you guys are by far the best. So mad props, guys. I appreciate it.
You hear that? You got a fan favorite over here, a fan favorite.
Yeah.
Excellent,
Very
man.
much appreciated.
Yes, of course, guys. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely, man. We'll go ahead and celebrate the rest of the night. Great job on that top three, and we'll catch you next week.
See you guys.
Yes, sir. That was Nate Campbell there, driving the number 45, just 2 positions shy of collecting a second win this evening. But now it's time to switch over to the number 57, Brian Fine finds catch-up Chevrolet Camaro. Mr. Brian, you got a copy?
Yes, sir. Got you loud and clear. How are you doing tonight?
Hey, man, we're doing excellent up here. That was a great race for us to watch. A lot of side-by-sides, switching up positions well within the top 5 even. I got to ask about the paint skin. Is this the first time you've ran this one? Or because this is the first time we've seen you, for the first 4 weeks. Has that skin been run previous? And then second question on the racetrack. You were floating around between second place and maybe about 6th or 7th. And what did it take for your camp to get you P2?
Well, this paint scheme was actually built at the beginning of the season, thanks to Kevin Zabadil. He actually gave the idea. Track tonight, it was hot and slick. Biggest thing was trying to stay, on the tires and, trying to keep the grip up and just rolling the throttle, staying off the brake and rolling the throttle as much as possible.
Yeah, and Brian, obviously you come home P2 tonight. You saw a lot of guys on the restarts kind of have some tire spin issues, especially one being yourself too. We saw last night, I said earlier during pre-race, it looked like the bottom was going to be the way to restart when you guys were on older tires, but on a fresh set of Goodyear Eagles on the initial starts of those tire runs. The top was the way to go, but tonight it was kind of a little bit of both. We saw Ryan Bean and Harold Watkins both go from the bottom to the top and kind of fluctuate. Was there any particular line that you found to really be the dominant on the restart tonight? Because it seemed like restarts were a really big deal in order to get track position.
Oh, the bottom was king tonight. If you were on the outside and if you got a pretty good jump, you were okay. But if you didn't get a good jump on the top, you were getting freight trained. Earlier in that race, I did woe up on the restart. I grabbed the wrong gear, tried getting out of everyone's way, and I do apologize about that. I got it back down to second gear and took off.
Yeah, 10-4 on that. And your 7th place in points coming to this thing, too. You're going to be probably well within the top 5 when this race, or whenever the points are calculated from this race. So good momentum booster here heading toward the middle half of this season. But the floor is yours, man. Who would love to give a shout out before we let you go?
First and foremost, shout out to you guys. Shout out to the league, Chef, Tony. You guys are doing a fantastic job. Shout out to my wife, Rachel. We're actually expecting in September, so I'm going to be missing a week or two, with the new addition, Bristol, coming along. Peterbilt Steve, Pay to Win, Fines 57 sauce, Fines beer. Just great job overall tonight.
One can say it's pretty fine.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Yeah, congratulations on the newcomer here coming up in just a month, actually. You said September, so that's right around the corner, man. So, yeah, congratulations overall on everything, and hopefully that goes well. But we're going to let you go this evening. Enjoy the rest of your night.
Appreciate it.
Yes, sir. That was Brian Fine there in the 57. And now it's time to load up the victory lane here for the person who has now won 3 consecutive races here for the first 4 of the 2023B season. Ryan Bean, congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
So we were joking a little bit there, and I saw the pre-race chat. They need to delete that bean.exe to try to keep up with you guys. I know that's been a long-standing joke, apparently, from what Nathan had said, but we're new to this, so that's the first time we're seeing it, which is kind of hilarious to us. But how do you do this? Because you're fast everywhere, it seems like, on the short tracks, intermediates, doesn't matter. It's just, are you putting in a bunch of laps, or are you just getting lucky, or what's going on, man?
I think it's a good mix of both. When I first started in the league, I was the road course guy. I walked in and I was only good at road courses, and then I started figuring out the short tracks, and then the rest just started to come along the more I understood the car. And I think today, I felt really good today, and obviously, I had that one restart where I almost lost the lead to Harold, but I was able to fend it off. And I know it doesn't help the fact that I look like a cheater. I'm not a cheater. I never would. But it's just sometimes you're lucky, sometimes it's your day, and sometimes it's not your day. And I guarantee you this season I will have some of those races, but I'm gonna keep riding the high while I can.
There you go.
Hey, Ryan, congratulations, by the way, on the win. Obviously, man, 3 in a row for you, 3 for 4 this season. Obviously, Nate obviously won at Atlanta, the opener for part 2 of the 2023 season. And I just asked Brian Fine. He was saying that the bottom was king, it looked like, all night long on the restarts, especially. And we saw you kind of jump around from the top to the bottom sometimes. When did you really start figuring out what your rhythm was on those restarts and what lane was more dominant for you? Or did it kind of just depend on who was behind you?
Yeah, I was at the beginning. It was kind of who was behind me, and then there was that one restart where I was on the bottom, and I gassed it way too much, and I spun, and that's when Harold was on my outside, and that's when I kind of realized I need to be on top, because up top is kind of where you have more leniency with how heavy you can hit the throttle. So once I figured that out, which was maybe 3 or 4 cautions before the end, that's when I realized I'm staying on the top no matter what happens. Because also I felt like if they did get a good jump on me on the bottom, I could get the good exit off of 2. That's all it really mattered. So at the end of the day, it was who was behind me, but at the end of the race, I just got to take what's best for me.
Now, is that because of the just the gearing in these cars, or is it the fact that as this track rubbered in there on the top half of the front stretch, did that contribute to any extra tire spin on the top versus the bottom?
I think so. This track's, the banking's really weird. I'm not sure if it's progressive or not, but it's enough to upset the car on the bottom because we're going up the track. I kind of feel so it's a little more difficult. That's why I thought up top, you have less banking to overcome, so it's a lot easier to actually get your rear tires to the ground and really get a good acceleration. So I think it was a little bit of gearing, but also, it was just who could be more patient on the throttle.
And that would explain why you guys moved up like dirt track style up to the top wall on these
Yep.
restarts. I was wondering what that was, and I guess that kind of explains that theory there
Yep.
for sure. And Nathan said he set up a challenge essentially. He's gonna try to get you one of these races real shortly. So just be on the lookout for that 45.
Gee. Yeah, it's all talk from him. All talk. I look forward to it. Yep.
Absolutely. But yeah, floor is yours. Who would you like to thank before we let you go?
Yeah, my teammates, man, we put in the work. You saw qualifying and practice. You know, we were the best of them all, and we were. Just everybody had some bad luck at some point. But next week is Michigan home. It's our team home track, so hopefully we put on a good show there. And thank you guys up in the booth. Fantastic product. Can't wait to watch this one back. Ludi and Sheffield putting on this great show, and yeah, let's keep this thing rolling.
Absolutely, man. Congratulations. 3-peating it here for the first 4 races, and we'll catch you next week in Michigan.
All right, appreciate it.
Yes, sir. That was Ryan Bean driving the number 28 Mobile 1 Toyota Camry. 3 wins in a row, Jason, to start this thing off. He said a little bit of good luck, a little bit of skill, and some great teamwork. And I would have to agree with that, seeing the stats there.
Yeah, you just got to remove that exe file. That's just all he's got to do.
My question is it in beta or is it open source yet? Because
Yeah,
I would really
that's
love to
an
know where we can
excellent-
find it.
Yeah, no, seriously, man, because I might need that hair soon. But yeah, I mean, all jokes aside, though, I mean, Ryan Bean has been an absolute rocket ship. And listen to me, race was good. Race was great. We had a lot of good battles. We had some drama. One thing, though, that I want to see, and for Ryan Bean, if he's watching this right now, and if he watches this back and gets to this point, Mr. Ryan Bean, I challenge you to go into the FTSR and battle with Richie Coy sometime here soon. Because from what I see, Ryan Bean reminds me a lot of Richie Coy out on the racetrack. Just a much younger guy, obviously, But I think Ryan and Richie Coy battling out on the racetrack, and then you bring Nate and maybe Harold Watkins over as well. I think they could do some great stuff over at FTSR. I'd love to see them over there in the Mach 1 Performance Cup Series, because it would be one hell of a show to see them take on the Fury Motorsports guys, and obviously some other strong guys like Jeff Chandler, or even coming to the Truck Series possibly. We got a couple good guys over at Nerd Motorsports now. Richie Coy's there. Jeff Chandler just joined that again. It would be cool to see, but what a race tonight from Richmond. I'm really looking forward to next week when these guys take on Michigan. Obviously, drafting is a huge factor like we talked about with last night, because it's the same place that the FTSR Mach 1 guys go next week. It's going to be a good one. Couple shout-outs to Kevin Ruff and Kevin Zabaldil. Great comebacks for them tonight, finishing 4th and 5th, just shy of the podium, because they both had huge issues here tonight. The 99 turned around once. The 17 dropped back for gosh knows what reason at one point, and they were able to come back for a top 5 tonight. But other than that, great race tonight.
Yeah, 100%. Dustin, you love Michigan. That's one of your top tracks here on the service. What do you think about this week coming up here?
Oh, first and foremost, this race here, I freaking love short tracks. I love calling them, love watching them.
100%.
Bristol, Richmond, love it. To piggyback off what you were talking about there, Mr. Rockefeller, is little birdie tells me in my ear that some individuals are talking with admins over here about the possibility of a 19 showing up on Tuesday nights. So I'll leave that right there for you. But great race tonight. Like you said, I mean, some heartbreak stories, some comeback stories. I think we did just as many highlight reels on the replay for saves as what we did cautions. I mean, these guys were on top of the wheel with saves and good heads-up driving. So excellent group of guys over here. I know we give Ryan a hard time and everything else, but like I said, I mean, he's been on fire. So, but like he said, and that fire at some point in time is going to get smothered out, because that's just racing. It happens. But to answer your question, Jeremy, Michigan. Love Michigan. It's 2-mile track. I mean, it runs like a super speedway, because, I mean, for all intents and purposes, it is a super speedway, anything 2 miles or more. Fast track. It poses great racing, multi-groove, multi-line. I mean, you guys are going to see these cars next week fan out from top to bottom. You're going to see pit strategies. It's an amazing race. And I mean, you heard it from Stealth Motorsports. That's their home track, team home track. It's also the home track of Martin Sports as well. So Michigan holds a close spot in a lot of people's hearts.
Yeah, at least in this product for sure, 100%. I'm definitely looking forward to it as well. See what these guys and FTR both have in store. But we're going to close this thing down. Thank our sponsors one last time before we do so. First and foremost, this series, RSR Next Gen Cup Series, presented by Evolution Racing League. It's one of the title series sponsors running here. So if you'd like to stay up to date, or maybe even looking to join in and racing with us here on Tuesdays, visit facebook.com/RSR League to figure out more info. Best One Tire and Service, looking for a one-stop automotive repair shop. BestOneTire.com. It's going to be a place to find all the locations nearest you. Admin Box is built by iRacers for iRacers to be utilized in league and hosted races by admins and race control. Find them at adminbox.com. Blake Howell Designs, need of a one-of-a-kind way to showcase your sponsors and look no further at Blake Howell Designs. Find them on Instagram. Martin Sports, top quality apparel to make you look stylish and feel comfortable. See their whole apparel lineup at martinsports.gg or martinsports906.com. iRacing iFlag, get all of your notifications just a fraction of a second faster without ever leaving your focus from the racing action, and you're going to find them at iracingiflag.com. Butt Kicker, the ultimate feel from a race car with their haptic response system. Visit them at thebuttkicker.com to see the whole product lineup of haptic products. Team Watson Racing Setups, quality, professional built setups for all your asphalt oval needs, race wind proven setups across the board on any asphalt oval. So visit them at teamwatsonracing.com. And lastly, Roasted Gems Coffee, premium coffee beans roasted just for you. Start your day the right way from coffee from Roasted Gems. That's going to close it out. So we're going to catch you tomorrow, 9 p.m. Eastern, once again for the FTSR Martin Sports Truck Series. And until then, get your nerd on.